The great hall of the Galactic Council stretched so far that the beings at its edges looked tiny. The ceiling rose up with glass panels that showed the stars and 3 nearby moons. Light from those moons cast blue and green shadows across the floor. 200 different alien species sat in curved rows, all facing a central platform. William Carter walked to that platform with slow, careful steps. His black uniform with gold trim marked him as Earth's main speaker. His gray hair was cut short, and his face showed lines from years of worry. At 58 years old, he had spent 20 years talking to aliens in this very room. Susan Reeves walked behind him. Her red hair was tied back and she carried a small computer pad. As William's helper, she had prepared for this day as much as he had. Neither of them smiled. Today was not a day for smiles. William reached the speaking spot and pressed his hand on the light panel. A soft chime rang through the hall. All the different aliens turned to look at him. Some had many eyes. Some had no eyes at all. Some floated in special tanks filled with their home gases or liquids. "I speak for Earth and all human worlds," William said. His voice carried through the room. The walls were built to make sure everyone could hear. "For 200 years, we humans have worked with this council. We have shared our ideas. We have fought in your wars. We have helped build your cities and ships." He paused and looked at the Rigelian group. They looked like tall, praying mantises with blue shells. Their leader, Zikorn, waved his front legs in a sign of respect. "But when we asked for help," William went on, "when our world at Proxima Centauri was attacked, this council did nothing. You talked. You had meetings. You sent messages of worry, but you did not send ships. You did not send help." Many aliens began to talk all at once. Their voices mixed together in clicks, whistles, deep rumbles, and high squeaks. The sound rose. Up to the glass ceiling, Susan stepped forward. 8 million humans died, she said. Her voice cut through the noise. Men, women, and children. While you talked, they died. While you worried about rules, they died. The room grew quiet. Even the floaters, who never stopped moving their gas bags, hung still in the air. William nodded to Susan, then faced the council again. "So today I am here to tell you that Earth is leaving the Galactic Council. As of this moment, we are no longer members." Now the room really exploded with noise. Some aliens stood up. Others changed colors in shock. A few smaller species ran in circles. "You cannot," shouted Zikorn of the Rigelians. His voice box made the words sound like stones being crushed. "The rules say all withdrawals need 1 full cycle to process." "We no longer follow your rules," William said simply. The head of the council, a being that looked like a jellyfish in a floating ball of water, moved to the front. Lights on its clear body flashed in patterns that the room's computers changed to words. "Earth has been a major part of the council for 10 generations, the flashing lights said. "You provide 20% of our defense ships. You run 30% of our trading routes. Your doctors treat 15 species that no one else can help. Please reconsider." William's face did not change. "We asked for help. You gave us words. Now we give you words in return. Earth is leaving." Susan stepped closer to William and spoke. "We will keep basic talking lines open. Anyone who wants to speak to Earth can still send messages. But we will not share new science with the Council. We will not fight in Council wars. We will not send our doctors to Council worlds. We are done." A tall, thin alien with skin like tree bark pushed through the crowd. This was Nala, from the Epsilon system. Her people had been friends with humans since first contact. "Please," Nala said. Her voice sounded like wind and leaves. "My people did vote to send help to Proxima. We were outvoted. Do not punish all for the mistakes of some." For the first time, William's hard face softened a little. "We are not closing doors to friends, Nala. Individual worlds can still talk to us, but the Council as a group has failed us for the last time." The jellyfish leader's lights flashed faster. "This is against all tradition. No major species has ever left the Council in its 5,000 years." William turned to face the leader, directly. "Then we will be the first, but probably not the last." He turned his back on the leader, a huge insult in council rules, and began to walk away. Susan followed him, also turning her back. The crowd of aliens moved apart to let them pass. Some reached out as if to touch them, then pulled back. Others made sounds of sadness or anger. A few called out for them to stop. At the giant doors of the council hall, William paused and looked back. For 200 years, humans had tried to be part of this group. They had changed their ways, learned strange customs, eaten strange foods, breathed strange airs, all to belong. And when they needed help the most, they had been alone. "I hope you learn from this," William called out to the hall. His voice echoed. "I hope the next time a world asks for help, you remember this day." The doors opened. Bright light from the hallway streamed in. William and Susan walked through without looking back again. Behind them, the council burst into shouts and arguments. Some accused others. Some cried for order. Some already worried about what would happen next. As the doors closed, William heard the jellyfish leader calling for calm. Its translator box sounded stressed, if a machine could be stressed. "They will come back," the jellyfish was saying. "They need us as much as we need them." William looked at Susan as they walked down the long hallway to where their ship waited. "They really don't understand, do they?" he said quietly. Susan shook her head. "No, they don't understand humans at all, and that's exactly why we have to leave." Their footsteps echoed as they walked away from 2 centuries of history and toward an unknown future. Behind them, the first cracks in the mighty Galactic Council had already begun to show. 3 weeks passed since Earth left the Galactic Council. On the bridge of the UES Intrepid, Admiral Nancy Ortega watched her screens with careful eyes. The Intrepid was Earth's biggest warship, a mile long with weapons that could break a small moon. Now it hung in space near the edge of what used to be friendly space. "Status report," Nancy said. Her black hair was streaked with silver and pulled back tight. At 62, she had seen more space battles than anyone else in the fleet. Commander Alan Foster looked up from his control panel. "The last links to the Council defense net are being cut now, Admiral. In about 10 minutes, we will be fully on our own." Nancy nodded. On the main screen, small red dots showed Council ships moving away from human space. For 200 years, humans and aliens had patrolled together. Now that was ending. "And our people at Arcturus?" Nancy asked. Alan tapped his screen a few times. "Captain Diaz reports all humans are off the Arcturus base. They took all the important equipment with them. The aliens there are having trouble making the defense systems work without our people." Nancy almost smiled. Almost. Not our problem anymore. On her own small screen, she watched reports coming in from across the stars. The Council worlds were already feeling Earth's absence. Humans had run many of the Council's systems not because they were the oldest species, but because they were good at fixing problems quickly. Now those problems had no fixers. Across the room, Lieutenant Samantha Lee spoke up. "Admiral, I'm getting a call from the Vega system. Their market has dropped 60% since we pulled our tech companies out." "Let me guess," Nancy said. "They want us to send the companies back?" "Yes, ma'am. They say their economy will collapse in a month without human goods." Nancy shook her head. "Tell them they should have thought of that before they voted against helping Proxima. They can contact Earth directly if they want to make a deal, but the Council as a whole gets nothing from us." Alan looked troubled. "Admiral, some innocent people might suffer." Nancy's face hardened. 8 million innocent humans already did suffer, Commander. Where was the Council then? In her office on Earth, President Laura Chen sat across from Ambassador Thularian. The alien was 7 feet tall with blue-green skin that looked wet, like a frog's. His large yellow eyes blinked sideways as he spoke through a translation box on his chest. 17 star systems report they will run out of medical supplies within months, Thularian said. His translator made his worried croaks sound almost human. Only human factories can make the nanomedicines they need. Laura showed no emotion. At 55, she had spent 30 years in politics. She knew when someone was trying to make her feel guilty. We offered direct deals to those systems, she said. They said no because the council told them to say no. That was their choice. Thularian's skin turned darker blue, a sign of frustration. But people will die. People already did die, Laura said. Her voice stayed even. 8 million of my people, while the council talked and did nothing. She stood up, showing the meeting was over. You can tell those 17 systems our offer still stands. We will trade with them directly, as equals, but we will not go through the council ever again. After Thularian left, Laura looked out her window at New Geneva's skyline. The city had been built as Earth's link to the stars. Now it would have to be something else. Her assistant, Frank Rivera, came in with more reports. Madam President, the Proxians are asking about border protections. With our ships pulled back, they're worried about raiders. Laura nodded. Send 3 destroyer groups to patrol their space. They voted to help us during the crisis. They deserve our help now. She looked at another report and frowned. The Sirius conglomerate is threatening to block our traders from their space. Frank looked worried. That could hurt our economy. Laura laughed, but there was no joy in it. The Sirius worlds get 90% of their heavy metals from us. They would collapse in weeks. They're bluffing. Out in space, far from Earth, things were getting worse. The Proxima Centauri pirates, who had attacked human colonies before, were now hitting alien worlds too. Without human ships to stop them, they grew bolder each day. On a medical station near Tau Ceti, Dr. Kevin Peterson worked without rest. The only human left on the station, he tried to help victims of a new virus. But without updates from Earth's medical computers, his treatments weren't working well. We need the new medicines, he told the station's alien leader, a being that looked like an octopus with smooth skin that changed colors with its moods. Right now, it was dark purple. Afraid. Can you not make them here? The alien asked. Kevin shook his head. The formulas are on Earth. When we offered them before, the council said they wanted our finished products, not our knowledge. They didn't want to learn. They just wanted to be given things. Back on the Galactic Council's main world, the Great Hall was in chaos. Aliens shouted at each other, blamed each other, and feared what would happen next. The jellyfish leader flashed, angry patterns of light. How did we become so dependent on the humans? They are younger than most species here. An old alien that looked like a walking tree spoke slowly. We became lazy. The humans were eager to help, to prove themselves. We let them do more and more, and we did less and less. In a quiet corner, Ambassador Zorn of the Rigelians spoke with a small group. Perhaps we should speak to Earth directly, offer them something to return. The council would see that as treason, warned another alien. Zorn's blue shell shimmered with frustration. Then the council is blind. Already the pirates grow bold without human ships. Already our systems fail without human hands. We must adapt, or we will fall. On a space station near Jupiter, William Carter and Susan Reeves met with representatives from 10 alien worlds that wanted to make direct deals with Earth. We cannot go against the council openly, said a representative from a world called Nyx. The alien had 4 arms and skin like silver bark. But we need your goods, your ships, your help. William looked at them all. The deal is simple. You recognize Earth as an independent power, not subject to council rules. You trade fairly with us. You come to our aid if we ask, as we will come to yours. No delays, no debates, no excuses. The aliens looked at each other nervously. What Earth offered was a new way of doing things without the slow, careful rules of the council. It was faster, more direct, and more risky. The council has stood for 5,000 years, said another alien. Susan smiled, but her eyes were hard. Then, perhaps it's time for something new. On her ship, Admiral Nancy Ortega got a call from President Chen. The Arcturus sector has gone dark, Laura said. Without our people to maintain the communications grid, they can't send messages between worlds anymore. Should we help them? Nancy asked. The president was silent for a moment. No, not until they learn. Not until they all learned that humans were never their servants. We were supposed to be their partners. As human ships pulled back to their own space, the galaxy held its breath, waiting to see what would happen next in a universe where humans were no longer part of the Council's plans. 6 months had passed since Earth walked away from the Galactic Council. The problems that had seemed small at first were now growing into true crises across many worlds. In a dark corner of space near the Betelgeuse star, a Council patrol ship drifted without power. Its engines had failed 3 days ago. The crew of lizard-like aliens huddled in the middle part of the ship where emergency power kept the air warm enough to breathe. Captain Droll, with scales the color of rust, looked at his crew with all 4 of his eyes. "The help beacon has been running for 3 days. No one has answered." His second-in-command, Kree, shivered as the ship grew colder. Before the humans left, help would have come in hours. Their ships were always patrolling this area. The Council said they would fill the gap, Droll said. His voice was bitter. "They said we didn't need humans." A young crew member looked up from her post. "Captain, I'm getting a signal. A ship is coming." Hope filled the cold bridge. Then the young crew member's face fell. It's not a Council ship." Droll rushed to her screen. A ship was coming, but its shape was well known to all who traveled in this part of space. Long and black with red marks on its sides. A pirate ship from Proxima Centauri. "Send a new message to any Council ships," Droll said quickly. "Tell them, we are under attack." But he knew no help would come in time. The pirates had grown bold these past months. Without human warships to stop them, they took what they wanted, when they wanted. As the pirate ship grew larger on their screens, Droll thought about the Council meeting where he had voted against sending help to the human colony. It had seemed like the safe choice then. Now facing pirates without human protection, he understood what a mistake it had been. On Tau Ceti in the medical station, Dr. Kevin Peterson worked with little sleep. The virus had spread to 3 more worlds. More sick aliens arrived each day, their bodies failing in ways he couldn't fully stop without the newest medicines from Earth. The station leader, the octopus-like alien, floated near him. Its skin had been purple with fear for so long that the color had become fixed. 30 more died today, the alien said. Its voice came through a translator box that made it sound flat and tired. "The Council says they are working on new medicines." Kevin didn't look up from his screen. "They've been saying that for months. Has anyone tried asking Earth directly?" The alien's skin rippled, showing stress. "The Council forbids direct contact with Earth. They say it would show weakness." Kevin finally looked up. His eyes were red from no sleep. "People are dying. Is it pride worth more than lives?" The alien had no answer. In the grand shipyards of Betelgeuse, where mighty spaceships had once been built by the thousands, most of the huge building bays sat empty and quiet. The robotic systems that did the detailed work had grown slower and less precise without updates from human engineers. Foreman Greel, a bulky 4-armed alien with skin like polished stone, looked out over his quiet yard. Before the humans left, this place had roared with activity day and night. Now they finished perhaps 1 ship a month, and even those weren't as good as they used to be. A worker approached him. "The Council asks when the new defense ships will be ready." Greel laughed, a sound like rocks falling. "Tell them the same thing I told them yesterday and the day before. Without the human systems, we are building cooking pots, not warships." When the worker left, Greel pulled out a small device he kept hidden in his work clothes. It was a direct comm link to a human trader he had known for 20 years. The Council had forbidden such contacts, but Greel cared more about his yard than Council rules. "Jack," he said into the device, "I need to talk to someone on Earth who can help me. My yard is dying. My world is dying. We need the humans back." On Earth, in the big meeting room of the United Earth Government, President Laura Chen sat with her top advisors. The large windows showed the mountains outside New Geneva, their tops white with snow. "The reports from our scouts are clear," said Defense Minister Paul Wilson. "The Council is falling apart. 17 systems have lost their defense fleets to pirates. 30 more can't feed their people because the farming systems we built are failing. Laura nodded. And the direct contacts? William Carter, now working directly for the president, spoke up. We have had secret messages from over 50 worlds that want to make deals with us outside of council rules. Some are afraid the council will punish them. Others are ready to leave the council completely. Susan Reeves handed out small screens to everyone at the table. The Centauri Confederation is ready to announce they are leaving the council. They want a direct alliance with us. The room grew quiet. The Centauri Confederation had 17 worlds, all with ties to Earth going back 100 years. This could be the first big crack that breaks the council, Laura said. Are we ready for what comes next? Frank Rivera, her chief assistant, looked worried. If the council breaks up completely, there could be wars. Old fights between species might start again without the council to keep peace. Laura's face was serious. The council wasn't keeping the peace. It was just pressing problems down, not solving them. And when real trouble came, like the attack on our colony, it did nothing. She stood up and walked to the window. Maybe the galaxy needs this time of trouble to build something better. In deep space, far from any star, a secret meeting took place. Ships from 20 different worlds met at a point only they knew. These worlds had been working together in secret since Earth left the council. On the main ship, leaders from each world sat in a circle. Some breathed water, some breathed strange gases. Some had many limbs, some had none. But they all shared one idea. The council had failed. A tall being with silver skin spoke first. This was Prime Minister Edward Rivera of New Terra, the largest world in the Centauri Confederation. My friends, it is time. The council grows weaker each day. They cannot stop the pirates. They cannot fix the systems that are breaking. They spend all their time making rules that don't help anyone. He looked around the circle. We must make a new path. We must tell the council we are leaving, and we must ask Earth to join with us as equals. A small alien that looked like a ball of blue fur spoke next. The council will threaten us. They will try to cut off our trade. Edward smiled. They can try, but their ships don't work well anymore. Their trading systems are breaking down, and we have already spoken to Earth in secret. They will support us. The alien from the Orion worlds stood up. His people looked almost human, except for their golden skin and 4 arms. My people are warriors. We always respected the humans because they fight well. We will join you. One by one, the others agreed. By the end of the long meeting, a new group was forming. They would call it the Interstellar Cooperative. It would be built on working together, not just making rules, and humans would be full partners. As the ships left the meeting and headed home, a new age for the galaxy was beginning. The old order was falling away. Something new was being born from the chaos, and all because humans had finally said, enough. 1 year had passed since Earth left the Galactic Council. That year had changed the galaxy more than the last 100 years before it. On the steps of the grand government building on New Terra, Prime Minister Edward Rivera stood before a huge crowd. Beings from all 17 worlds of the Centauri Confederation had gathered to hear his words. Some floated in the air. Some stood on many legs. All waited in silence. Today, Edward said, his voice carried by speakers to even the farthest corners of the crowd, the Centauri Confederation officially leaves the Galactic Council. The crowd roared, a mix of human voices and alien sounds that rose up to the orange sky. Edward raised his hands for quiet. For too long, we have let a group of old worlds tell us what to do. They made rules that helped them, not us. When trouble came, they talked, but did not act. When our friends on Earth needed help, the Council failed them. He pointed to a group of humans standing near him. William Carter and Susan Reeves were there, along with other Earth officials. Today we form a new bond with Earth, not as ruler and ruled, but as true friends. Together we will build something better than the Council ever was. On the other side of the galaxy, in the Council's Great Hall, the news hit like a comet strike. The Centauri Confederation was small compared. to the whole council, but it was the first group to leave officially. "We must stop this," shouted the leader of the Draconis worlds, a lizard-like being with a neck frill that spread wide when angry. "We must punish these rebels." The jellyfish leader's lights flashed in patterns that showed deep worry. "How? Our defense fleet is at half strength without human ships. Our trading network is breaking down. We cannot enforce our will as we once did." An old member of the council, a being so ancient it looked like a cloud of silver mist inside a clear case, spoke in a voice that sounded like distant bells. "We have ruled the galaxy for 5,000 years. We have seen rebels before. They always come back to us in the end." But many in the room did not look sure anymore. On the observation platform called the Nexus, far from any world, Ambassador Julia Wilson watched the council meeting through a special link. Though Earth had left the council, they kept people like Julia watching what happened there. She called Earth on a secure line. Secretary of State Marcus Young appeared on her screen, his dark skin lined with age and wisdom. "The Centauri Confederation's announcement has thrown the council into chaos," Julia reported. "Some want to punish them, others are too afraid to try." Marcus nodded. "And the other groups we've been talking to?" Julia checked her notes. "The Orion Compact is ready to leave next. Their warships are already pulling back from council space. The Pleiades network has cut off all data sharing with the council, which has crashed half their communications grid." "Are we causing the end of the council?" Marcus asked. His face looked troubled. Julia thought about it. "No. The council was already failing. We just showed everyone that there can be another way." Back on Earth, in a small meeting room, President Laura Chen met with Admiral Nancy Ortega and Dr. Peter Kim, Earth's top scientist. "The council has threatened to cut off all trade with worlds that deal with us directly," Laura said, showing them a message on her screen. Nancy laughed. "An empty threat? Their ships can barely leave their own stars now. The pirates have taken over most of the old trade routes." Dr. Kim nodded. "And many council worlds are already trading with us in secret. Their people would riot if that trade stopped. They need what we make too much." Laura looked out the window at the mountains. "We didn't want this. We just wanted to be treated fairly." "Sometimes," Nancy said, "you have to break something to fix it." In space near the border between council worlds and free space, a small human ship met with a council trader. This meeting broke rules on both sides, but such meetings happened more and more now. Captain Sam Rogers shook hands with the alien trader, a being with 6 arms and skin that changed color to match its background. Right now it was the blue-gray of the ship's walls. "You have the medicine we agreed on?" the alien asked in broken human speech. Sam pointed to crates being loaded by his crew. "Enough to treat the virus on all 3 of your worlds." "And you?" The alien handed over a small data cube, the council's defense codes, star maps of all patrol routes, and the names of others who wished to trade with humans. As they finished their deal, both knew they were part of a growing movement. Across the galaxy, more beings chose to work with humans directly, ignoring the council's fading power. In the council hall days later, the anger had turned to fear. News came that the Orion Compact, a group of warlike worlds with powerful fleets, had also left the council. First the Centauri Confederation, now the Orion Compact. "Who will be next?" asked a small being that looked like a talking plant. "The humans are building a new power group," said the Draconis leader, still angry. "They will take over the galaxy." But the silver mist being spoke again. "No, I have studied the humans since they first reached the stars. They do not want to rule others. They want to work with others as equals. That is what makes them dangerous to us, because our council was never about being equal." Many members shifted uncomfortably at this truth. On the edge of human space, a new station was being built. Called Unity, it would be the meeting place for all worlds that wanted to work with humans. Its huge rings spun slowly as ships from 20 different species brought materials and workers. William Carter and Susan Reeves stood at a window in the finished part of the station, watching the work. "The council has asked for peace talks," William said. "They want us to come back." Susan's face showed surprise. After all this time? After all that's happened? William nodded. They offer us special status, extra votes, more power. The very things we didn't want, Susan said with a small laugh. We never wanted to be special or above others. We just wanted to be treated fairly. William looked out at the stars. I told them no. I said we are building something new now, something better. They can join us as equals if they wish, but the old council's time is ending. As they talked, ships from the Pleiades network arrived, their crystal hulls catching the light of the nearby sun. They too had left the council, bringing their vast knowledge networks to join with humans instead. The old order was truly breaking, now. The council that had ruled for thousands of years was losing its grip on the galaxy. And all because humans had finally said they would not be treated as less than others. A new age was coming. And it would be built on working together, not on making rules that helped only a few. 2 years had passed since Earth walked away from the Galactic Council. Now in the grand hall where everything had started, the final meeting of the council was taking place. Only 60 species were present, less than a third of the original members. The rest had left, joining new groups or standing alone. The great chamber felt empty, with whole sections of seats now bare. The jellyfish leader hung in its water tank at the center of the room. Its lights flashed weakly as it spoke to the remaining members. After 5,000 years, we must accept the truth. The Galactic Council as we knew it cannot continue. Too many worlds have left us. Too many systems have failed. The leader's lights dimmed for a moment, a sign of deep sadness. Today we will vote on the final measure, to officially end the council and join the new interstellar cooperative. Some of the older members rumbled in anger. Others sat in silent shock. The Draconis leader, once so fierce, now looked defeated. How did it come to this? Asked a small being from a world near the center of the galaxy. How did we fall so far, so fast? The silver mist, being oldest of them all, moved its case forward to speak. We forgot the most important lesson of ruling. Listen to those you rule. We treated the humans as tools, not partners. And when they showed us our mistake by leaving, we were too proud to change. The vote was quick and clear. By a large majority, the council voted to end. After 5,000 years, the oldest government in the galaxy was no more. On the new space station called Concordia, orbiting Jupiter and Earth's home system, representatives from over 100 worlds gathered for the first full meeting of the Interstellar Cooperative. The station's great meeting room was different from the old council hall. Instead of rows facing a central point, the seats were arranged in a circle. No species sat higher than others. William Carter, now older with fully gray hair, stood to speak. As the person who had led Earth out of the council, he had been asked to open this new chapter. 2 years ago, Earth left the Galactic Council because we were not treated as equals. We did not leave to make others treat us as better than them. We left to find a better way for all. He looked around the circle at the many different beings. Some breathed water in special suits. Some floated in the air. Some had many eyes or legs or arms. All were now equal in this new group. The cooperative is built on a simple idea. All members help each other. We share what we know. We defend each other when needed. We talk together to solve problems. No one species makes rules for others, we make rules together. Susan Reeves, standing beside him, added, when the old council refused to help Earth in our time of need, they broke the most basic promise of any group, to stand together in hard times. In our cooperative, that promise comes first. President Richard Okafor of Earth, who had taken over when Laura Chen finished her time in office, spoke next. The lesson of the council's fall is simple. Real strength comes from working together as equals, not from a few giving orders to many. No one species, no one way of thinking has all the answers. As the meeting went on, it became clear how much had changed in just 2 years. The old council worlds that had once looked down on humans now worked side by side with them. The Rigelians, who had once voted against helping Earth, were now among the strongest supporters of the new system. Even the jellyfish leader, no longer the head of the council, but now just the representative of its home world, had joined the circle as an equal. During a break, the jellyfish moved its tank next to William Carter. "I must admit something." Its lights flashed. "When you humans left, I was sure you would fail alone. I was sure you would come back begging to rejoin us," William smiled. "And instead everyone joined us. Because you offered something better," the jellyfish's lights answered. "You offered real partnership, not just the chance to follow rules made by others." Across the cooperative worlds, the changes were clear. On Tau Ceti, Dr. Kevin Peterson now ran a medical school where doctors from 50 species learned from each other. The virus that had once threatened whole worlds had been beaten by shared knowledge. The shipyards at Betelgeuse roared with activity again. Human engineers worked alongside alien builders, creating ships better than either could make alone. The pirates from Proxima Centauri had been pushed back by a combined fleet of human and alien ships. Some had even given up being pirates to join trader groups instead. And on worlds that had once looked down on humans as the new young species, there was a new respect. Not because humans had won a war or forced others to obey them, but because humans had shown a better way to live together among the stars. In a quiet moment during the meeting, Susan Reeves found Zikorn, the Rigelian who had once voted against helping Earth. "I never expected to say this," Zikorn said, his blue shell gleaming under the station's lights. "But your leaving may have been the best thing that ever happened to life in this galaxy." Susan nodded. "Sometimes you have to break something to fix it." As the meeting continued into the night, ships from dozens of worlds moved in careful patterns around the station. Each was different. Each moved in its own way. But together, they made something beautiful. Not a council that forced everyone to be the same, but a cooperative that celebrated being different. Earth had left the Galactic Council and caused chaos. But from that chaos had come something new and better, a true partnership of worlds where no one stood above others. And as William looked out at the gathered representatives, now talking and sharing ideas freely as true equals, he knew that this new way would last far longer than the old council ever had, because it was built on working together, not on giving orders, because it was built on helping each other, not on making rules, because it was built on the simple human idea that had changed the galaxy. Everyone deserves to be treated with respect.